What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to today's video. I have a special guest with me today. I got Farron, Gerzy Gliss Fields of Hype City Show. What's going on, Farron? How you feeling, man?
What's going on, brother? I'm good. I'm good. How about you?
I can't complain, man. I'm glad to have you here because, um, as you know, my show, or not my show, but my channel is about content creation, and putting together, building up a business on the content that you create. So I talk to, a lot of, photographers and filmmakers.
Right.
Um, and, I wanted to have you on because your show, Hype City Show, is basically a media outlet, right?
Yes, it is.
All right. So before I go ahead and get too far ahead of myself, why don't you, give us a little introduction to, who you are and tell us about what you do.
All right. Like he said in the beginning, my name is Jersey. They call me. I go by Gerzy Gliss. I run a radio show, a media publication called Hype City Show. I've been doing that for about 5 years with a good friend of mine. I call him the Yale Bulldog, but his name is Eli Sini. Me and him been working on Hype City for about, yeah, we going on 5 years now. And basically Hype City is the the publication part is like a blog, you I do music on there, other interviews, all different types of stuff. And then our radio portion is basically we play with the radios don't play. We kind of play, unfiltered hip hop, R&B music. And we are syndicated on two stations right now. That happened like a couple months ago. Shout out to Street Madness Radio and ATL, and shout out to Big Shop Radio, also in ATL. And we're on 2 days a week, Friday from 5 to 7 on Street Madness Radio, and Monday from 6 to 8 on Big Shop Radio. But we just working out here, That's it.
All right, that's what's up, man. So now you said that you've been running Hype City now for about 5 years, right?
Almost, yeah. It'll be 5 years in like a couple months, but we like 4.5 in.
Okay. So what inspired you to even start the show?
Well, what inspired me to do Hype City was, I was an artist a long time ago, and I got a bunch of friends that do music and all different types of music, just not hip hop. But their number one thing was that they can't get on the radio. That was everybody's big thing when I was doing music. And probably the same thing now, but I'm just not an artist. But uh, and I said, man, you know what? I was getting I'm saying I was getting older, but I just had my son. I couldn't kind of move around like I used to. So I was like, man, I'm gonna do radio. And
Is that
at
so?
the,
Okay, go ahead. Don't let
and
me
at the
interrupt.
at the time, like I was in my garage with my girlfriend, and she was like, "You gonna do radio?" And it was just a wild thing, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm really gonna do radio." Called a couple friends I knew that kind of had some people to help out, or to get us moving towards the radio side, and it happened, and I started Hype City, and we just been rocking ever since. Like I don't have no. Most people always be like, "Yo, you got a degree in this?" I never went to school for this. I just learned on my own.
Hey, man, that's what's up, man. You know what? But I guess that's interesting that you even say that, like having a degree for it or whatever, because nowadays, you can break in to, a given field, right, by just being able to create content and having these different channels to distribute, your content, right? Like you can just get on the internet and essentially have worldwide distribution.
Right, definitely. Yeah, you can always jump on any kind of platform and be worldwide. You know what I mean? If you got got an audience.
Now you mentioned that you were on two different radio stations. Are these the same stations that you originally started out on, or how that come about?
So the stations that I started out on, shout out to my man Mike Francolino at Wildfire Toxic Radio. This is where I started. I started as a little small spot out in like I guess you could say like Westville, New Jersey. if you're familiar with New Jersey, then in Westville. Little small studio spot. We rocked there from every what was that? Every Tuesday? Yeah, I think it was Tuesday. Every Tuesday we were like, and I think we were like 3 hours in the beginning too. Like that's how you know I didn't know what the hell I was doing because I was like 3 hours straight on the radio,
Yeah, it's
and
like a
that's
Joe Rogan podcast.
exactly. I had to get music for like 3 hours, talk about stuff, and so we did that for a while, um, and then things got a little rocky there. It was very expensive because one thing I'm gonna say about this music or anything you do, you have to spend your money. Like especially if you're gonna be in the studio or other places recorded, you're gonna have to spend your money. But it got a little expensive. It got a little pricey. I was living pretty far from there, and I always want to get to Philly because I felt like Philly would make it a better because doing music, if you're closer to New York, you're like, man, I gotta be in New York because that's where everybody goes. Like nobody goes to like, whatever part of New Jersey over there, you know what I mean? And same
Right.
like here, nobody comes to these parts. Like if you said, trust me, I can call people from Philly that are artists and be like, yo, meet me in such and such town. And they'll be like, I've never heard of that. Where is that at? You know what I mean? And most people don't want to come over here. So I was like, I have to get to Philadelphia somehow. So I linked up with this guy. Well, actually, this chick, shout out to MJ. I was talking to her, and she's like a publicist, and she knew a dude who had a station in Philly. Same kind of, thing I was doing in Jersey. But at the time, they just played like classic hip hop joints. You feel me? Like boom bap stuff. And
Right.
at the time, I wasn't doing that. I was just playing like, new stuff, like what the young kids like, and mixing it in with the old stuff that I used to rock out to. Giving them a blend of everything, not just like one genre or one little era. And we went over there and we kind of changed the format, and the rest was kind of history. Like I got a lot of big interviews from being in Philly. Like it kind of helped the show out.
Right. Now, aside from being in Philly, all right. So one of the things that I'm always talking about is being consistent and being able to put together a good product. So what part do you think that, because you're saying 5 years, that's a long time, to constantly be coming up and creating content. So what part do you think that the consistency played, and also what part do you think that the actual product played? Because I don't know if people have heard your show before they come on it.
Yeah. So it's crazy because I just said that to myself like the other day. I was like, it's crazy that you know I've been doing this for almost 5 years, and I bring a new show every single week. Like every single week. Like, I mean, there has never been a duplicate show. Like that's crazy because like I told you, even like in when we was talking before this, I was like, yo, I don't know what I had no idea what I'm doing, and I just look like with the product. If you're consistent, your product is gonna catch people's eyes because they're gonna be like, all right, cool, I heard this show, it's pretty dope, and then they hear it next week, then they hear it again. But once you miss, then it's like they're gonna be like, hold up, what's going on? Like, it's like it's like TV shows. eight
Right.
o'clock, such and such is coming on Thursday. Like
R-
you're ready
Right.
for it. Now
Right.
when it don't come on, you're gonna be like, hold up, what's up? What
Right.
yo,
Yeah.
it's not they done or something?
Right.
What happened? So that's the way I always was like, I kind of took the model from uh, long before this. I used to always listen to Hot 97. They used to have K Slay, DJ Clue, Absolute, I think Green Lantern, but it was each day. But it was different mixes each day. And I used to see how people get super hyped when they hear like the new music come on. They'd be jumping around. Ah, man, this is crazy. So I was like, you know what? That's the feeling I want to bring to people. So I was like, every week I'm gonna have an interview and I'm gonna bring dope music. And that's what we've been doing. But now we kind of switched up the flow. I do the interview, but now I have a DJ every week. So for about 20 weeks, I've been having fresh DJs from all around the world. which is super cool because I ain't, it was just like I told you, these just be little thoughts in my head, and then I just be like, you know what, I'm gonna try it, and it
Mhm.
and it just worked, and we've been rocking ever since, though.
Yeah, I feel you on that, man. Like that is kind of crazy because but the start of that is actually like what you say, you got to just do it, right? And then on top of that, you got to stay consistent because, I always say that one of the easiest ways to stand out is just to be consistent, just to always be consistently, showing up and delivering a good product. And even
Yeah,
if your product is okay, but you're consistent and you're
consistent.
showing
Yeah,
improvement, people will definitely take notice of that, man. And like, so now it probably makes it easier to attract, these different DJs because they know that, every week the show is going to be coming out. It's consistent.
yeah,
People are checking for it. And so, they're going to get heard. Their mix is going to get heard. They can use that to leverage for whatever else that they're trying to do, spinning in clubs or I don't know about now with
yeah,
everything
yeah.
that's
Not,
going
not.
on, but,
Yeah,
you know,
but that's been the whole thing. Like, and I even say that when I had partners or when I didn't have partners, I just used to always say to myself, all right, I try like I just try to make a new show each week, and it's crazy because like what people never understand, like some people out here think I got a whole team of people, and I really don't. Like it's just really me. Like I do this 24/7. Like I grinded for this. That's
right.
what people don't understand. Like when you really want something, you have to grind for that. Like I live I live this every day. Like I feel like I'm all ready to a shade 4 or 5 on radio one. I feel like that already. So that's the way I move.
I ain't mad at that. So let me ask you, what attracted you to radio over doing a podcast? Because the podcasting is like the new wave these days. I mean, it
Yeah,
seems
yeah,
like every
yeah.
time you turn around, there's a new podcast going on. But and if I'm not mistaken, I think that your show is on the radio right now, but it's not a podcast.
No, it's not. So it's not a podcast. Like I'm saying, it can be a podcast because, all right, in the beginning when I was, like I was telling you, I was doing 3 hours. So
Hmm.
I was talking to artists for long, long periods of time. So
Hmm.
that's more like it was a podcast, but I was playing music. So like, I kind of was I remember my people said to me, they're like, yo, you're really not like a podcast because you play music. They're like, podcasts don't play music. They might play a song or something from maybe a guest that they're interviewing or here and there, whatever. But I was like, and then I was like, you're right. I was like, I'm not a podcast because I do play music and I have breaks and such things like that. So as time went on, I was like, you know what, I'm more of a radio show. I kind of and that's what I always wanted to be, a radio show because being from the Philly area, you know how Cosmic Kev get people hyped. They be on tuned in 12 o'clock Friday. Like
Right.
people was up at 12 o'clock waiting for Cosmic Kev to come on, and that's how I wanted to feel about Hype City. I look 5 o'clock Friday. I got kind of a prime time spot. Like 5 p.m. Turn it on in your car. It's the traffic mix. I give you a little DJ mix with the trap. You know what I mean? Like so. I kind of got on that vibe though, but yeah, it's not no more. I have a podcast portion of that I put on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that other stuff. But yeah, we're just a radio show. You know, what I mean, the interviews are the podcast part. I could say.
Okay. All right. All right. That makes sense. Yeah, because that is kind of true. It's like, yeah, I could see that. Like, I don't really hear a lot of podcasts where they're playing music,
No,
unless they're
no, no,
playing
no.
like a song or something, like you
Yeah,
said
yeah.
from an artist that they're featuring. So, you've been doing this for 5 years. What or who, in your opinion, is your biggest and or what was your best interview that you had up until this point?
Sheesh. Wow, man, that's a rough question. Man, I done interviewed so many people.
I mean, 5 years in the
Uh,
game.
yeah, every week a different person, damn near too. I can say, all right, I'll put it like this. The most like craziest interview I ever, well, not craziest, but something that some person I probably never thought I would ever even interview. I would have to say when Little Flip his people's like, reached out to us. it's just weird because you know me thinking like I don't ever think like yo my show is like everywhere these people know of it da da da. I just still think it's very small. So when
Right.
people like that like send me emails and other people, I just be like, yo, how in the world did they find this? I
Right.
always want to ask them that, but then I feel like stupid if I do ask them that. So I just never even I just keep it in my head. But that was kind of crazy that to look in my email and see like people from Little Flip's camp saying, "Hey, we want to get Little Flip on the show." I'm like, do they know like this show is not, what I mean? But we still did it and we was cool. Like I built a friendship with Little Flip. Like I never met him yet, but we talked on the phone. We talked and had an interview, and he was like, "Yo, you ever come down such and such? Man, hit me up. We can link up," which is cool because me being my age, I kind of grew up off a Little Flip. He was big to me at the
Right.
time, you know what I mean? So I can say that was a big one, and probably man, all my interviews are my favorite. Every interview is a favorite one. Um, but I would say, wow, damn, that's a rough question. I would say a dude by the name of Charles L.V. It was like it was my favorite interview because he got super real on the interview. Like, I forget what question I asked him, but he started telling me about his brother doing something to somebody, and it kind of felt like I was like it wasn't no more radio. It felt like I was, like a news, like this was like some 60 minutes, and I was like, interviewing, and it was just like, damn, it's crazy that people get this deep. I never thought that somebody would get that deep, like asking all these artists these questions. Like some of them get super deep. So I would say that was my favorite one, but all of them are my favorite. They're all good to good interviews to me.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. It's I mean, I guess you never know, man. I mean, like when you're saying like you're talking to people and then you never know what they're going to say and how deep they're going to get. And that's got
Yeah,
to kind of be like an interesting process. You're coming across all these different artists and asking them
right,
questions. So, you know, uh so right now we're kind of like, in the whole midst of the pandemic, right? Um
right.
and you're constantly talking to artists. What's the scene like for artists, especially those who are coming up, because like you said, some of the artists on your show are up and coming or they're underground. So what's things looking like for them right now?
So all right, so a couple like what was that? Maybe 2 weeks ago, I interviewed. Shout out to Black Sopranos, Benny the Butcher, Rick Hyde, Heem. They're from Buffalo. They're on E1. Trust me, people out here done heard of them. They're pretty big, but even for them, um, working on music is not like working on music. Like the only place that's really open that most artists can kind of do shows right now to, because with music, streams do make money, but most artists make money off shows, and to perform, the only place that's really open and letting people perform is Atlanta, you know,
Mm,
um, and a lot of artists that are from, this area, um, they're really they're making music. That's about it. But the money. I believe the money is like kind of dried up because there's no shows, there's no clubs open. It's it got harder. Like if you're not buzzing, if you wasn't like had a buzz before the pandemic, then it kind of got hard. It's basically like now you just working until the doors open up, and then you can be like, "Yo, this is I got all this for y'all." You know what I
right.
mean? That's what I say to artists. I say most of the time, I say, "Look, if you wasn't known of, or nobody heard of you, or little people heard of you during the before the pandemic, I said this time, I said you should be working super hard. So when the doors open up and we can go back outside and go to venues, you should have material for days. You should be flooding it because most people that it's not like that's what I said to my man. I said we gonna see who was working and who wasn't working during this whole time. It's gonna show. As soon as these doors open, it's gonna show.
Yeah.
Because the people that was connecting the dots, they gonna be like, "Yo, we getting on this plane. We gonna shoot out here. We gonna do that." And the people that wasn't, they gonna be still right where they are.
Yeah, complaining about why, you know,
Why ain't
this
nothing
place is locked
happening?
down or whatever the case may
Yeah,
be.
like
Yeah.
it like and it's crazy because it's a lot of artists that I see out here, and I always be like, man, it's crazy. They don't be dropping no music during this time. I'm like, yo, everybody's in the crib. This is when you got everybody's attention. Usually, on a Friday or any other day, you ain't got nobody's attention. People trying to go out. They going to the bar, club. They getting out with their peoples. They not hearing no music. They only time to hear music. They getting ready in the car. That's it. Now we're home 24/7. This is time you
Right.
should be beating their head in with this music.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Content
But
content is on fire right now, right? Like,
yeah,
like Netflix, right? You probably
yeah,
got
like
so many people sitting around streaming and
people
even
watching
on
movies they
social.
never watched before.
Yeah, right. Because you're just trying to run through the catalog.
Yeah,
You're trying to kill some time, man. It's like nothing else to do. You can't go outside like you used to be able to. So, and even
right.
if you wanted to, I don't
Nothing's
know.
open.
Yeah,
Nothing's open. After
yeah.
8 o'clock, it's over. So you're back in the house anyway, on the computer, on your phone. Most people. That's why I told that. That's why I was like, yo, I'm just gonna give people music. Like, think about it. D Nice, the DJs done cleaned up. Like, if you were a DJ, look, they going live having clubs just on live stream.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? So the whole thing has changed. Like, so when everything opens back up, you're gonna see who was working and who wasn't, and they just gonna have to, they're gonna be sitting back where they was again.
So, with that being said, then let's say somebody um they want to get into, kind of the game that you're involved in, right? They want to be, you know, uh creating content. They want to, create a media outlet where they can be a blogger. Uh and have some type of influence within their community,
Right.
or the people that they're trying to reach. So what advice would you give to somebody who's just starting out right now?
I would say, just go, just do it. Just go with your gut. Whatever you want to do that. You know what I mean? Have a little plan behind it and just go. Like, don't let nobody tell you like, nah, that can't happen, this and that. Because in the beginning, you know, um, anybody's gonna try to, steer you a different way. Like, nah, that you can't do that. But you just gotta be like, you know what? I ain't hearing what nobody's saying. I'm gonna put my head down and I'm just gonna work. And that's it. Like you and like how we both say, if you're not consistent, it's never gonna work. You can't just be like 1 week here. I'm gonna do a show 5 weeks later. Nobody's rocking with that because they're gonna be like, yo, that what? I gotta get a show every like, what I mean, every month. Oh, nah, I ain't beat. Yeah, I mean, content come at you, hundreds and thousands of videos every day. Every day we get new content. You go on YouTube every single morning, you're gonna see brand new stuff. That old stuff you missed 2 hours ago ain't there no more. So
Yeah.
it's just like, yo, you just gotta be consistent and just don't let nobody tell you, like, nah, it can't be done. That's the one thing I always, I used to get mad at people when they'd be like, "Oh, you can't do that," and I'd be like, "All right, watch me. I'll try to prove them wrong." And every time I'd be like, "You know what? Yeah, I did that shit anyway.
Right,
I ain't
right,
gonna. I mean, just because you told me, nah, you can't do that. Okay, cool. You said I can't do that, but how you know what's out here? And I
right.
and I go get it done. I mean, or that's why I always tell people, don't wait for nobody. You're gonna wait for people. You're gonna be waiting for them forever. Then.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. You always got to just do it. Whatever it is, you got to do it. You know what I'm
Yeah, that's
saying?
it. I mean, like you a rapper out here. Don't be waiting for your friends. Because they don't move, they ain't gonna work the same way you work. You might make them work a little faster because they be like, damn, he already what? Damn, he there? Oh yeah, I gotta step my shit up. You know what I mean? Like
Right,
sometimes that helped them. So that's the way I put it.
right. And don't be afraid to, like you said, put up your own money, man. You were talking about how in the
Nah,
beginning, when you were getting started, it got a little bit expensive at the place that you initially started out. But, as
yeah,
time goes on, you learn, right? And you learn how to maneuver and figure things out. But, don't be afraid, to put up your own money and to bet on yourself, right?
right. I could look. I always tell people when they say, "Yo, how much have you spent on your dream or your whatever you're doing?" I said I could have took my son to Disney World about 30 times, and we could have went to every park and ate at every restaurant in that joint. All, anything we wanted, all day, every day. I promise you. And they're like, for real? And I was like, yo, trust me. I was like, man, look, I could have been driving in a Maserati or some gun, some big shit. If if I, with all the dough I done spent.
Right.
So, but it's to me, it's
Hmm.
all worth it. My family's good.
Hmm.
My girl, she don't bug out on me because I don't make do crazy things with my money. But long as everything's good at the home front, then she's straight. Some people can't do it like that. Sometimes bills is first. Remember that your priorities is first. Your dream, yeah, we gonna get to that, but priorities first. You gotta live. You can't be on the street trying to
Yeah,
do radio. You know what I mean? Like
for
you ain't got
sure.
no you ain't got no spot. So
Yeah. And I
yeah,
mean, and even nowadays, man, you can get started, just with a smartphone, man. Like you can do so much stuff, right? Like, but the key is that you first got to get started. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And if you got
You
to
can't
invest
be
a couple
afraid.
dollars, it's okay.
Yeah, you can't be afraid to spend your money because if you're not going to spend your money, who is going to spend their money on you? You know what I mean? Like if I sit down somewhere and they say, "Well, how much you spending your time?" Da da da, and I tell them all the stuff, they'd be like, "Okay, you're investing in your career. How can we help?" You know what I mean? But if I said zero, like, "Nah, I ain't spend nothing," they're gonna be like, "All right, well, then you must be good then if you ain't spend nothing."
Right.
Because most
Or
places
you're not serious.
yeah, you're not serious because you ain't even, you ain't running no promo, you ain't doing nothing, no Facebook ads, you ain't doing nothing. You just posting. I ain't doing nothing.
Now,
I'm
so
not
then
doing
let me ask you, so out of all of the social media platforms, what's your favorite?
it. Instagram, followed by like a close Twitter. I just been on Twitter for a while, but I kind of got like, shout out to Eli because Eli got me back on Twitter. He's like the king of that joint. I don't know how he does it, but uh it's much better because we even talk. Think about it. You watch television, here and there. You watch the news. You watch just things that have personalities on there, right?
Mhm.
Nobody ever says they have a Facebook. Nobody be like, add me on Facebook at such and such. They'd be like, yo, hit me on Twitter at whatever. So I
Yeah,
always tell people, I'd be like, yo, Twitter is like probably, is the spot. But most people want engagements. They want to always talk to people. Like Twitter is that, but it's not that. But you never know. You could definitely speak to somebody that you're trying to get in touch with that's on another level because every famous person is on Twitter.
right,
I mean, every personality, we watch these entertainment shows. All those people have Twitters. They may have Facebooks, but they're never on it though.
right. That's interesting you even say that. Is because from what I hear, a lot of times when people are talking about landing interviews and they're reaching out to the person in all these different ways, they usually say they always get a response on Twitter. Is that how you get most of your interviews? Like how do you
I got
and
I
what
got I got most of my interviews from Instagram.
okay.
Instagram and to be honest, the trick is that I was going to Twitter, but I wasn't like messaging them on there because I know more like people use the Instagram. They use Twitter too, but they use Instagram. But on a lot of these artists' Twitter, they have their booking info. So I would just
Mhm.
email the booking, and then I would go to Instagram and be like, "Yo, tell them what I do. Hey, we run a show. We out such and such. These days are open. How can I get your client? Or I would just hit them up directly. And not sometimes they would hit back and be like, yo, yeah, let's do it. I'll be like, damn, that was crazy. I ain't never thought they would respond. Like what when I first started Hype City back again, because we took a little break. I was doing the DJs. I think my third DJ was Scram Jones from Shade 4 or 5. He's did shit with Eminem, D Block, all big artists, right? So
Mhm.
I one night it was like 1 in the morning. I hit him up on the Instagram. I was like, hey, it would be cool if I could get a mix from you. We were showcasing DJs on the show, and I'm a fan, and I'm just trying to get a mix from you. If I have to pay, let me know. Like, if it's out of my budget, then we can try another time. He was like, nah, bro. He was like, what you need from me? Oh, I got you, man. Here, I'm gonna send you this mix. Send me a mix. And I was like, yo, that's crazy. It was like, and it was easy. And I was like, you know what? That made me say, if you got a good product, like you were saying, people will rock with it. Like if you got some trash, people be like, yo, I need like money for that, bro. Like you ain't just gonna have mine and my stuff anywhere. But
Right.
if you got like good, like I even send them the website, send them other, shows that we had. Like, hey, check us out. We know, we ain't on no BS. And I guess he liked what he heard, and he sent over a mix. And I was like, yo, that's crazy. I had Scram Jones like DJ, a Hype City mix. Like,
Right.
I mean, I never thought that would happen, but it's easy. You just gotta, like I said, you gotta be consistent.
Right. And like you said, you
And
got to, I mean, if you have a good product, people want to be a part of what you got going on.
yeah, if you got good stuff and you got links and you can post things like, hey, check this out. Here go a link of the show. Here goes my website. You look professional, so people will rock with you. But if you look unprofessional, people are gonna be like, nah, bro, we ain't doing that.
Yeah, I feel you on that, man. So now that you done mentioned all of those, showing off and showing casing, when you're pitching, your show to a potential, DJ or an artist to come on and be a guest on your show, why don't you let everybody here know where they can find you?
All right, so um, the show is Hype City Show, and we have a website, and you can reach us there at hypecityshow.com. We're on IG, Twitter, Facebook, Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcast. Basically, we are everywhere you possibly can be, and anywhere. I think I'm not on title yet, but we'll be on there soon too. But you find us just Hype City Show, um, and that's how you find us. You can find me at Gerzy Gliss on IG. That's GerzeyGliss. You know what I mean? And like I said before in the beginning, we're on every Friday from 5 to 7 on Street Madness Radio, and that's in ATL. And then we're on every Monday from 6 to 8, and that's Big Shot Radio. You can go on Alexa on Monday and say, "Yo, put on Big Shot Radio," and Hype City gonna come on at 6 o'clock, which is super cool. You know what I mean? I'm like,
That's what's up, man.
I,
Just put
I
any
tried it,
orders
and
to
look,
Alexa to your stuff.
and it works too. I tried it one day. I remember the dude from the station. Shout out to my man,
Mm.
Mr. Big Shot. He was like, "Yo, you can go on Alexa and say," and I was like, "Man, BS, man." I was like, "That's crazy." And then I was like, I think I was in my room, and I yelled it to Alexa. Sure enough, came on. I was like, "Yo, that's dope."
That's what's up. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I always tell people, I'll be like, look, if you can't remember, just say Big Shot Radio on your whatever, your Echo Dot, your Alexa, whatever it is, the Amazon joint,
Mhm.
and we gonna pop up.
That's what's up, man. All right, yo. So listen, I want to, wish you much continued success. Thanks for taking some time out of your day to talk to us and give us some insights on what it's actually like to take something, just this idea and kind of work it and grow it. And I'm interested to see, where Hype City Show is going to go, and I want to see what you guys are going to make of this whole thing. So I'm always checking you guys out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely,
I
definitely.
had stopped by the show one time.
Yeah, you were
You
on
had
there.
Flo
You
J
know what I mean?
Simpson on there.
Yeah, yeah. Flo J. Simpson and Crown Bella.
Crown Bella, that's right. Yeah. Crown Bella. And then King Reek on
King
there.
Reek, yeah, King,
King Reek.
and you know what's crazy? King Reek is doing really really well with the music. Like you know, before we go, I just want to say
Hmm.
I went to Sway show. Shout out to my man Eddie Marr. I took my boy Eddie Marr. He makes clothes super dope. This is his hoodie I got on. If you can see it. Um, but I took my man. We went to New York. This was before the pandemic, and we met Sway. We watched the taping of a live taping of the Sway show, which
Hmm.
was cool for me because I never really seen no behind the scenes radio stuff. Sway invited me. I talked to Sway like a day before on the radio. I told him I hit a wall, like a mental wall, like I didn't know where to go with the show. And I was telling him things, and he gave me a little bit of guidance, but he invited me up to see how things work. And my man gave him some clothes, but the experience was super cool because I never met Sway in my life, but it felt like I knew him all my life because he was so cool to me. Like I was walking away, he's like, "You leaving? You leaving now?" And I was like, "Nah, I'm just going to the bathroom, bro." Like it felt like I knew him my whole time. He was mad cool, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
I was like, "Yo, this is wild," because I listen to Sway every single day. Like when I'm at work, that's what I have on when I'm, doing my job. So I'm like, that's crazy. It was a dope experience, but he just gave me a lot of game, and he told me in what I was saying with the artist that I interview. He said that's your circle. He said, you're gonna get other people outside of your circle, but he's like, that's your circle. He's like, so you just keep in touch with those guys because he said you never know. And you go back on the King Reek, man. King Reek's doing, numbers, and he had videos on World Star doing numbers. He was down Texas with, artist Yellow Beezy.
Mm.
He's been doing a lot of good things, and it was like, damn, I had him on the show way before people even knew who he was. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's just cool. It's just cool to see people that I had on the show and what they're doing now. Like if they're like became major, you're like, yo, I had them on the show when like nobody knew who they was, But
Right.
that's the thing people go look for later on. Like that's like if I had Jay Z on my show before he was Jay Z, people would be like, yo, he was on your show. Like that's Jay Z. Like that's crazy.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Nah, that's pretty cool though, man. Like and it's always cool to like when you're watching those type of artists and you like look back at some of those like older interviews when they were like just getting started, and I don't know. I mean, I find
Yeah,
that
yeah,
type of thing interesting. And it's also
exactly,
cool to see like, you were, in some part a part of that journey because you never know, like you say, you never know who heard it, you never know who's listening. Just like you said, you don't know how these people hear about your show. How did Little Flip hear about your show? You don't know, but
exactly,
next
man.
thing you know, they're reaching out to you. So, I mean, that's why it's good to show up and be consistent because you never know who's going to hear it. You never know where it's going to land, and you never know who's going to be able to, create, help you create another opportunity for, where you're trying to take it. I mean, even talking to Sway, it's like everybody knows Sway. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? And
I got
who would have ever
yeah,
thunk, right?
yeah, right. To go on Sway and get to ask questions like I was a part of Sway. You feel me? Like that. I I I got to ask the question that I always ask. The artists that come on our show, which was cool. Like so, it's just been a dope little ride, and we ain't stopping, man. We got some we got more things coming to the light soon. You're just working on things. Pandemic kind of messing a few things up, but it's life. You know what I mean? But we adapt, and we just gonna keep grinding. That's all.
All right. Well, I ain't mad at it, man. So once again, brother, thanks, man, for taking some time, and stopping by.
Definitely, definitely, bro. For your show or for
Ah,
what you do,
ah,
I'll do
here
this
we go.
anytime, bro. Look, you about to say, here we go. No, yeah, for sure that we go way back, brother. Like,
For
I mean,
sure.
anything you need from me, I got you. I mean, if I could do it for you, I got you.
All right, man. Well, that's what's up. So, for all y'all people out there who want to learn more about my man Gerzy Gliss, make sure that you go check out Hype City Show. And you can just type that in on anything, basically, and you're saying it's going to pop up.
Yeah, you go
It's
go to
only one
Google
Hype
Hype.
City Show.
Yeah, go to Google Hype City Show. All our joints gonna pop up. We our SEO is looking right.
Oh, man. Well, that's what I like to hear. All right, brother. Well, thanks for stopping by, man.
Definitely, bro. Yo, you stay blessed, man. Tell the fam I said what's up. We gonna kick it again, bro.
For sure. Likewise.
All right, man. Peace.